On Christmas, I was stuck working a double shift in the ER. My parents and sister told my 16-year-old daughter there was no room for her at the table. She had to drive home alone and spend Christmas in an empty house. I didn't cause a scene. I took action. The next morning, my parents opened a letter and started screaming. They looked my 16-year-old in the eye on Christmas Day and told her there was no room for her at the table. She drove home alone to an empty house while my family carved turkey and poured wine. Something in me broke, and then, finally, something in me woke up. I'm Lauren Mitchell. I'm 35, an ER nurse, and a single mom to my brilliant girl, Harper. I've always juggled double shifts and family drama in the name of keeping the peace. But last Christmas, that peace shattered. And honestly, thank God it did. Before I dive in, tell me where you're watching from in the comments. And if stories about boundaries and finding your backbone resonate with you, you know what to do. I became a nurse 12 years ago to help people at their most vulnerable. The irony? I've spent years caring for strangers while failing to fully protect the person I love most, my daughter. Harper's dad, Jason, and I split when she was 7. It was civil enough, but he moved to Seattle 3 years ago, and his involvement became birthday calls, occasional texts, and child support that arrived mostly on time. Harper stopped expecting more. That broke my heart. But I was proud of her resilience. My parents, Richard and Eleanor, live 30 minutes away in a pristine colonial where the house is a museum and my mother rules like a curator of proper family. Dad retired from his accounting firm 5 years back. Mom's a lifelong homemaker with a PhD in appearances. My younger sister, Amanda, married Thomas, money, finance, the whole package. They've got 2 kids, Ethan, 13, and Zoe, 10. Guess who was the golden child growing up? Not me. I was the divorced nurse who wore scrubs and spoke her mind. Those were my unforgivable sins in Eleanor's world. It didn't stop with us. The favoritism bled into the grandkids. Ethan and Zoe got special attention, expensive gifts, a spotlight. Harper? An afterthought, even when she tried. And she tried so hard. Homemade cards, helping in the kitchen, the gracious smile when my mother made comments about her casual clothes or her photography. Proper activities were ballet and tennis, you see. I'd tell Harper on the drive home, they just don't know how amazing you are. She'd shrug. It's okay, Mom. They love me in their own way. But the smile never reached her eyes. At Memorial Hospital, I found chosen family. Dr. Meredith Wilson, my friend, my sanity, has logged more Christmas shifts with me than I can count. No kids of her own, but she showed up for mine. She went to Harper's photography exhibits and brought goofy souvenirs from conferences. The woman is a lighthouse. Christmas at my parents' house is always a production. Coordinated ornaments, formal dress, the good china. Every year I bent my schedule to be there, even if it meant working overnight or going straight to a shift after dinner. This year was different. The nursing shortage hit hard, and by early December I knew I'd be pulling a double on Christmas Day. Harper, I'm so sorry, I told her as we decorated our little tree. I tried to switch, but it's fine, Mom, she said, hanging a lopsided paper ornament she made in 2nd grade. Grandma called. She wants me to still come for dinner. I paused. She did. A hopeful spark. That's good. Yeah. I can drive now, remember? You don't have to worry. She'd had her license for 2 months and wanted to feel grown. I hesitated. It's Christmas Day. There could be, Mom, she said, eye roll included. 30 minutes. Daylight. I'll be careful. I already told Grandma I'd help with the cranberry tarts. She was so excited. I called my mother to confirm. Of course she should come, Mom said, brisk and polished. Families should be together on Christmas. Shame you have to work, but someone has to. I swallowed the tone. Tell her to wear something nice. Dinner's at 5. We had our own smaller Christmas Eve at home. Gifts, cocoa, old movies, the sweet potato casserole wrapped carefully with reheating instructions in my neatest handwriting. Harper tried on the new green sweater she'd picked. I gave her tiny silver earrings the night before. She looked beautiful. 19 times, I asked her to text me when she arrived. She humored me. Morning came fast. I kissed her forehead in the kitchen while my scrubs still smelled like detergent. Drive carefully. Text me when you get there. And when you leave. And if Mom, she laughed. I've got this. Go save lives. The ER at Memorial on Christmas is a storm. Burns. Falls. Heart attacks after family fights. By noon, I was in that focused headspace nurses know, the one where you put your own life on hold and move room to room like a metronome. Then my phone buzzed in my pocket, made it to Grandma's. Driving was fine. Grandpa says hi. Relief. Great, I texted back. Having fun. Yeah. Helping with dinner prep. I kept one eye on my phone as the afternoon wore on. 1:30 p.m. Aunt Amanda brought extra people. Some of Uncle Thomas's colleagues. 2:45 p.m. Dinner might be later than planned. 3:50 p.m. Everything's fine. Just busy. At 5:30, after a multi-car accident dumped 3 traumas on us at once, I finally checked my phone again. Coming home. Don't worry about me. The room spun. I called. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Nothing. I pushed through the hallway toward the break room. Meredith, I need a minute. She followed. What happened? My phone rang. Harper. I answered on the first beat. Harper? Are you okay? I'm fine, she said, too flat, too calm. I'm driving home. Why? What happened? It's not important. Grandma said there wasn't room at the table for me. It's fine. The words didn't compute. What do you mean, no room? What exactly happened, baby? A pause. Aunt Amanda brought 4 extra people. When it was time for dinner, Grandma said the dining room was full and asked me to eat in the kitchen. I said okay. But then I saw she made sure Ethan and Zoe were at the main table. So I asked. And? She said the guests were adults and needed to be accommodated properly. I took my plate to the kitchen. People kept coming in for seconds. One guy asked if I was the hired help. Her voice wobbled. After a bit, Grandma came in and said it was getting awkward and maybe it would be better if I came back another time. There's really no room, Harper. Maybe next year. White-hot heat flooded my chest. Did Grandpa say anything? Amanda? Grandpa was carving the turkey. Amanda looked uncomfortable, but didn't say anything. Uncle Thomas suggested I could sit in their car if I wanted to wait. No one offered to drive me or make me a plate. So I left. Where are you now? 10 minutes from home. I'm okay. I promise. Text me when you get there. Keep your location on. I will. Don't leave work, Mom. Your patients need you. We hung up. I stood shaking in the break room, grief and rage sending shockwaves through my body. Meredith touched my shoulder. Tell me. I told her. Every ugly detail tasted bitter in my mouth. That's horrific, she said, eyes flashing. Do you need to go? I can talk to Reynolds about coverage. I looked. Through the glass at the packed ER, the people clutching each other, the few alone and scared. My duty is in my bones. Harper was safe. For now. No, I said, breath studying. I'll finish my shift. And then I'll handle my family. Good, she said. But Lauren? Don't let them get away with this. I nodded. Then I went back out and did my job with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. In every pulse ox and blood draw, there was a promise forming. No more excuses. No more, that's just how Mom is. No more teaching my daughter that love means swallowing disrespect. Harper texted when she got home. I'm okay. Are you hungry? There's leftover pasta in the fridge, I wrote. Got food, she replied after a pause. Don't worry. No one from my parents' house called her. Not my mother, not my father, not my sister. Rachel, from 2 doors down, answered instead when I called during my break. Ratch, I hate to ask, but say no more, she said. Brian made enough ham for an army. We'll bring a plate. Michael will carry it. We'll sit with Harper a bit too. I almost cried. I gave her the spare key spot. Under the turtle planter, I choked out. Thank you. I stitched a kid who'd stuck a Lego in his nose. I stabilized an elderly man in heart failure. I watched 2 estranged brothers reconcile in the waiting room after a crash scare. Life's too short, the older one said, hugging the younger. Family should have each other's backs. I heard it like a sermon. Family should have your back. If they don't, they're not acting like family. At 10 p.m., I texted Harper. How are you? Okay. Rachel and Brian brought food. Their ham is better than Grandma's. Don't tell. I smiled despite myself. Your secret's safe. Did anyone call me? She added a minute later. I stared at the screen. No, she wrote before I could answer. And that no hardened something inside me into resolve. I grabbed a coffee and slid down the wall next to Meredith. She has always tried so hard, I said. Every card. Every kitchen shift. Every time she swallowed a comment about her clothes. She has tried to earn their love. Like it's something you have to earn from your own family. Meredith nodded. My mother was like that. Conditional love isn't love. The worst part. I whispered. I've let it happen. Protected my idea of family more than my actual child. You were protecting the picture in your head, she said softly. We all do it. Until we don't. It ends now. The final patient of the night was a young mom who'd fallen hanging lights. I should be home, she fretted. It's Christmas. You'll be there soon, I said, placing the last stitch. Kids understand when real life happens. She looked at me. Spoken from experience? My daughter spent Christmas night alone, I said evenly, because my family decided she didn't deserve a seat. Her eyes filled with sympathy. What are you going to do? For the first time tonight, I smiled a little. Exactly what needs to be done. Just before midnight, Dr. Nathan Pierce came in to take the overnight. He's one of the good ones, competent, kind, maddeningly calm. Merry Christmas, Lauren, he said, scanning the board. Busy one? You could say that, I managed. Meredith must have briefed him on the chaos. He gave me a look that said, I'd listen if you wanted to talk. I wasn't ready. I'm heading home to my daughter. Give her my best, he said. I stepped into the cold. The air cut through me like clarity. I checked Harper's location home. Rachel had texted that they'd stayed for a while, that she'd eaten, that she'd been quiet. I drove past houses glowing with lights and families who, I prayed, were kinder than mine had been to my child. I got home just after midnight. The apartment was dim, our little tree blinking softly. On the coffee table, a paper plate with crumbs from Rachel's ham and a half-microwaved potato. An empty hot chocolate mug. A packet of store-bought cookies with a yellow post-it, saved for Mom. My throat tightened. I walked to Harper's room and pushed the door open. She was curled on top of the covers, still in that green sweater and black pants, phone clutched in her hand like she'd been waiting for someone to call. Her brows were drawn even in sleep. Tear tracks silvered her cheeks. On the nightstand sat the small wrapped box I'd left that morning, her silver camera charm unopened. The gifts she'd lovingly wrapped for my parents and sister were stacked neatly in a corner. Nowhere to go. Something primal rose in me. Protective. Fierce. I sat gently on the bed and stroked her hair. Her eyes fluttered. Mom, she murmured, voice thick. What time is it? Just after midnight, I whispered. I'm home. She pushed up, remembering in a rush. How was work? Tell me what happened today, I said. All of it. She pulled her knees to her chest. I got there around 3. Grandpa hugged me and helped with the casserole. Grandma looked at my sweater and said green wasn't really my color. My jaw clenched. She continued. I helped in the kitchen. Around 4, Aunt Amanda arrived with Uncle Thomas and the kids. Plus 4 extra people, Thomas's colleagues. Grandma looked surprised, but she kept saying, the more the merrier. My chest tightened. When it was time to set the table, I started helping. Grandma pulled me aside and said the dining table was for the adults and asked if I could eat at the kitchen counter. I said okay. But then I saw she made sure Ethan and Zoe had seats at the big table. Zoe's 10, Mom. What did she say when you asked about that? That they were sitting with their parents because the guests needed to be accommodated properly. Harper picked at a loose thread. I took my plate to the kitchen. People kept walking in. One of the colleagues asked if I was the hired help. She gave a broken laugh. After a few minutes, Grandma came in and said it was getting awkward. That maybe I should come back another time. There's really no room, Harper. Maybe next year. Like I was some neighbor's kid who wandered in. What did Amanda say? She was in the doorway. She looked uncomfortable. She didn't say anything. Uncle Thomas suggested I could wait in their car. Harper's eyes filled again. No one offered to drive me, or even make me a to-go plate. So I said I'd go. Grandpa was talking to guests. I don't think he even noticed. I pulled her into me. She cried into my shoulder, all the composure draining out. I'm so sorry, I whispered into her hair. I am so sorry. It's not your fault, she said, voice muffled. You had to work. It is my fault, I said, lifting her chin. I've made excuses for them for years. I let this pattern form. That ends tonight. She blinked. What do you mean? I mean there will be consequences. No one treats my daughter like that. Not even family. Especially not family. A small smile tugged at her mouth for the first time. You're not going to go full mama bear, are you? Maybe, I said. Would that embarrass you? She thought. No. I think I'm okay with that. We talked for another hour. She changed into pajamas. I made us fresh hot chocolate. When we finally crawled into my bed, she asked, very small, can I stay with you tonight? I wrapped my arms around her like I used to during thunderstorms. Always. I woke at dawn with my mind crystal clear. The plan was simple: protect my daughter, set the boundary, mean it. I called in a personal day. I almost never do that, so the hospital didn't blink. Then I gathered the Christmas decor my mother had insisted we borrow to make our apartment festive. Into a box. Back they go. I made breakfast, chocolate chip pancakes and a goofy smiley face, like I used to on tough mornings when Harper was little. I put a red carnation from our balcony garden in a tiny vase on the tray. I called my parents' house. Voicemail. Of course. They sleep late after hosting. Mom. Dad. It's Lauren, I said, calm and clear. What happened yesterday with Harper was unacceptable. I'm spending today with my daughter, who spent Christmas alone because you decided there wasn't room for her. I'll be returning the decorations. If you want a relationship with us, there will be new terms, boundaries, and respect. I'll be in touch when I'm ready to discuss. I hung up. There was no shaking in my hands. Just relief. I texted Amanda, we need to talk about yesterday. I'm beyond disappointed in your role. She responded fast. You're overreacting. It was crowded and awkward. We didn't plan those extra guests. Harper seemed fine. I typed so fast my thumbs blurred. A 16-year-old driving home alone on Christmas because adults wouldn't make space for her is not fine. Your kids were accommodated while mine was sent away. That speaks volumes. That's not fair, she wrote. My kids are younger. Harper's practically an adult. Mom was stressed. It wasn't personal. It was personal to Harper, I replied. She prepared for days. She was excited. She ended up alone and no one even checked on her. Would you accept that treatment for Ethan or Zoe? When she didn't reply, I added, and this isn't just about yesterday. It's years of unequal treatment. I've allowed it because I wanted peace. That ends now. If you want a relationship with us, things must change dramatically. Harper shuffled out, hair a sleepy halo. Morning. What are you doing up so early? Making breakfast, I said, lifting the tray. And I took a personal day. Today is just for us. My phone lit up. Is that Grandma? She asked. Yes. She can wait. I silenced the ringer. We ate pancakes at our little table and watched light move across our walls, not mentioning the calls. When I finished clearing dishes, my phone rang again, Dad. I stepped onto the balcony. Hey, Dad. Lauren, what is this message? He asked, confused, voice thick. Your mother is upset. What happened? I told him. All of it. He was quiet a long time. I had no idea, he said finally. I was carving the turkey. Your mother didn't tell me she asked Harper to leave. Whether you knew or not, I said, steady, it happened. And it's part of a pattern. You love Harper? Then your actions need to match. He started to protest. I cut him off gently but firmly. I'm not looking for excuses. I'm telling you what's changing. We will not accept disrespect. If you want to be in our lives, there needs to be an apology to Harper and real change. He took a breath. Your mother wants to talk to you. Not today. Today is for Harper. We can talk tomorrow. But not for you to explain it away. Actually talk. I went back inside. Harper looked at me with that knowing teenager face. Everything okay? Getting there, I said. I set the boundary. What if they don't want to change? She asked. Then we build our family elsewhere, with people who value you. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find Meredith, cheeks pink from the cold, arms full of grocery bags. Reinforcements, she announced. I brought everything for a proper Christmas dinner. Harper's face lit up. Dr. Wilson. It's Meredith outside the hospital, she smiled. And yes, no one misses Christmas dinner on my watch. Doorbell again. Rachel and Brian and their college-age son, Michael, stood there with casseroles and stuffing and hugs. We thought you might want company, Rachel said. The more the merrier, I said, and for the first time, the phrase meant what it should. Within the hour, our apartment was a symphony of laughter and chopping and clanging lids. Meredith had spread the word, Nurse Sophia and her husband James arrived, and Dr. Lopez walked in with a tray of tamales his mother insisted were non-negotiable for the holidays. People asked Harper about her photography. They listened. They complimented. They handed her spoons and asked her opinion on seasoning and made sure she had a seat at the big table, obviously. Around 2, the door knocked again. Harper opened it and turned to me uncertain. Mom, it's Aunt Amanda. I joined her at the door. Amanda looked different, less polished, more human. Can we talk? She asked. You can come in, I said. We're having our own Christmas. Her eyes widened at the scene, our crowded, happy kitchen. I can come back, no, I said. Now is fine. We stepped onto the balcony. She twisted her purse strap. I want to apologize. To both of you, but especially to Harper. What happened yesterday was wrong. Yes, I said. No rescue. No cushioning. I should have said something when Mom told her to leave. I knew it wasn't right. She swallowed. I didn't want to make a scene. Or upset Mom. Or make it awkward with Thomas's colleagues. I put everyone's comfort above Harper's feelings. That was wrong. Her honesty surprised me. It was, I said. She looked down. I've always been a little jealous, you know. Of you and Harper. You're not just mother and daughter, you're friends. You respect each other. I don't have that with my kids yet. She rushed to add, it doesn't excuse anything. I just want you to know I'm not cruel. I just failed. You've allowed your kids to be favored over Harper for years, I said. You've participated in it. She nodded, eyes glassy. I know. I'm sorry. I want a chance to make it right, if Harper will let me. I studied her. I saw actual remorse. That's up to Harper. And any relationship moving forward will look very different. I understand, she said. Can I talk to her? I called Harper out to the balcony and gave them space. Through the glass, I saw Amanda talking with her hands, saw Harper stiff and small, then slowly soften. A tentative hug. They came back in. Aunt Amanda's staying for dinner, Harper said. I said it was okay. Good. That decision was hers to make. My parents called twice that afternoon. I let it ring. We ate turkey next to tamales, mashed potatoes next to green salsa, and laughed until I thought my ribs might crack. We set up extra chairs borrowed from our neighbors and made new family around a table that had always had room. After everyone left, Harper helped me clean up. The apartment still smelled like cinnamon and garlic and warmth. She loaded the dishwasher and, out of nowhere, said, "This was the best Christmas ever." I blinked. Even after yesterday? Maybe because of yesterday, she said. I saw you stand up for me. And then all these people showed up because they care. That feels like family more than any fancy dinner where I'm an afterthought. I hugged her. You're right. Family is who shows up. Are you still going to talk to Grandma and Grandpa? She asked. Yes. Not to fight. To set boundaries. She nodded. I'm glad Aunt Amanda came. I think she meant it. I do too, I said. People can change. If they want to. My phone buzzed. Meredith. Today was wonderful, her text read. Dr. Pierce is sorry he missed it. He asked about you too. Next time. Harper peeked at my screen. Dr. Pierce? The cute one who brings you coffee. He's just a colleague, I muttered, too quickly. A concerned colleague who looks at you like you're a Christmas miracle, she teased. Go to bed, I laughed, bumping her shoulder. She kissed my cheek. Mom? I'm proud of you. I swallowed. I'm proud of us. The next morning, we met my parents at Maple Street Coffee at 11 a.m. Amanda asked to come for moral support, and I didn't say no. Harper wore another green sweater on purpose. I loved her for that. Dad arrived on time, as always. Mom looked perfect, as always, but uncertain in a way that wasn't. We sat. I decided I wouldn't be the first to speak. If they wanted to repair this, they needed to take the first step. Dad cleared his throat. "We want to apologize for what happened on Christmas," he said, looking at Harper. "It was wrong. You should never have been asked to leave." He glanced at me. "I didn't fully understand until yesterday. That's not an excuse. I should have paid attention. I'm sorry." Harper nodded once. Silent. Her silence was loud. Dad looked at Mom. "Eleanor." She adjusted a non-existent wrinkle. "Things got hectic," she said. "I didn't handle it as well as I could have." I felt Harper tense beside me. I kept my voice calm. "Mom, Harper drove home alone on Christmas because you told her there was no room for her. Meanwhile, you made space for everyone else, including children younger than her. Didn't handle it well, doesn't cover it." Mom's cheeks flushed. "What would you have had me do?" "We didn't have enough chairs." "You could have asked one of the adults to eat later," Amanda said, surprising all of us. "Or eaten in shifts. Or sent someone to get a folding table." There were a dozen options that didn't involve sending Harper away. Mom turned to her, wounded. "You didn't say anything then." "I know," Amanda said. "And I was wrong. I apologized to Harper." "This isn't just about Christmas," I said evenly. "It's about years of Harper being treated like she matters less. Less attention. Less grace. Less everything." "That's not true," Mom protested. "We love Harper." "Love is action," I said quietly. "And your actions have shown favoritism. For years." Dad put a hand on Mom's wrist and looked at me. "What do you want us to do, Lauren?" This was the moment. "If you want a relationship with us, we need clear expectations and boundaries. Equal treatment for all the grandchildren. Respect for both me and Harper. No digs about our choices or appearance. Accountability when the line is crossed. And if those standards aren't met, we won't attend gatherings. We won't sacrifice our dignity for the sake of appearances." "You're giving us ultimatums?" Mom said, stunned. "I'm telling you what we need for a healthy relationship," I said. "Whether you can meet that is up to you." Harper spoke for the first time, voice steady. "I love you both. I want a relationship. But I need you to show me I matter. Not just say it." Something in my mother's face shifted. Maybe it was hearing the tremor in Harper's voice. "I never meant to make you feel unvalued," she said, softer than I'd heard in years. "I'm sorry that I did. It wasn't perfect. But it was a start." "What happens now?" Dad asked. "Now we see if things can change," I said. "We're not cutting you off. We're asking for a reset." We agreed to a family meeting in January, neutral ground again, to talk specifics. As we got up to leave, Dad hugged Harper and whispered something that made her smile. Mom hugged her too. Briefly, but with less stiffness than usual. Over the next weeks, small things shifted. Dad called Harper directly just to ask about her day. He offered to help her build a real darkroom in our hall closet. He showed up with tools and spent a Saturday measuring, drilling, and listening while Harper explained exposure times. They built more than a workspace in that closet. Mom's progress was slower, 2 steps forward, 1 reflexive critique back. Her first solo visit to our apartment was awkward. She couldn't help remarking on how cozy it was, her code for small. But when Harper showed her new prints, she actually tried, to ask thoughtful questions and compliment composition. Then she invited Harper, just Harper, to lunch and a museum photography exhibit. Harper came home beaming. She actually listened, Mom. She didn't bring up Zoe once. Amanda surprised me most. She asked Harper to help Zoe with a school photography project, giving them space to connect without the adult-sibling rivalry hovering. She started gently shutting down old patterns when they popped up in our parents' house. She sent texts that read, "I hear you," not "calm down." Work changed too. Setting boundaries at home gave me a backbone everywhere else. In February scheduling, I requested the days I needed without 10 paragraphs of justification. I said no when I needed to. My colleagues noticed, especially Meredith. "Whatever happened at Christmas was good for you," she said one slow afternoon. "You seem lighter." "I am," I told her. "Turns out boundaries are freeing." She smirked. "In that case, Dr. Pierce has been asking if you're ever free for coffee outside work." I felt that little flutter I hadn't let myself feel in years. Nathan and I went for coffee. Then dinner. Then more. He was kind and steady and never performed around Harper. He just showed up as himself. He helped her rig a lighting setup for a school project without mansplaining, which, frankly, should be its own love language. "He gets it," Harper said one night. "He doesn't try too hard or ignore me. He's just real." January's family meeting surprised me. Everyone showed up with notes. Dad, being dad, even created a shared document to track issues and address them before they exploded. Mom struggled, but she listened more than she defended. Harper, with her hands shaking under the table, looked her grandmother in the eye and said, "When you compare me to my cousins or criticize my interests, it hurts. I'm not asking you to pretend to love everything I do. I'm asking you to respect that I'm me." Mom nodded. "I understand. I'll do better. I promise." There were missteps. Old habits don't vanish. Mom slipped into comparisons sometimes. Dad occasionally retreated into conflict avoidance. Amanda had flare-ups of competitive parenting. The difference was that we named it when it happened and course-corrected. There were consequences. And then there was progress. Harper flourished in that space. Her confidence grew. Her photography deepened, riskier angles, bolder stories. She started to believe, really believe, that her perspective mattered. She taught Zoe about lighting and composition. Ethan asked for her help on a project and actually listened. I changed too. The woman who swallowed hurt to keep the peace found her voice. I advocated for myself at work and became charge nurse that spring. And with Nathan, I let myself be happy. I remembered what laughter felt like when it wasn't tight with worry. 6 months after that awful Christmas, Harper and I sat on our balcony in June, sipping lemonade under the string lights she'd hung. The balcony garden, another of Dad's projects, was doing shockingly well for 2 women who forget to water things. "Grandpa called," Harper said, flicking through photos. "He wants to take me fishing next weekend." I smiled. Their quiet mornings on the lake had become a tradition. "What about Ethan and Zoe?" I asked. "Ethan's not into it," she shrugged. "Zoe might come next time. But Grandpa said this is our special time." That sentence? Massive progress. He was learning to see each grandchild as a person, not a ranking. Grandma texted me a link to a photography competition, Harper added, eyes bright. She heard about it through the museum and thought of me. I exhaled. That mattered. Not the link itself, but that Harper was top of mind when my mother came across something beautiful. "Aunt Amanda asked if we want to go to the lake house in August," Harper said, glancing at me for a read. She said, "No pressure." "Do you want to go?" I asked, neutral on purpose. "Yeah, I do. It's different now." She actually sees me. We were quiet, content. Nathan was coming over the next night to teach us how to make paella, his grandmother's recipe. Harper grinned at me over her glass. "You really like him, huh?" I blushed like a teenager. "I do." "You deserve it," she said simply. "You always put me first." "You can choose joy too." "When did you get so wise?" I laughed. "Probably around Christmas," she said, thoughtful. "Watching you stand up for us changed something in me. I realized that accepting bad treatment doesn't make you a good person. It teaches people it's okay to treat you badly." I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "That's exactly right." "I'm thinking about college," she said. "I used to worry what Grandma would think. Or Aunt Amanda. Now I care what I think. I want to study photojournalism. To tell stories that make people feel something." The confidence in her voice was the best gift I've ever received. My phone buzzed. Meredith, of course, plotting a baby shower for a coworker. As I chatted with her, I watched Harper snapshots of the sunset, trying to catch the exact second the sky turned gold. When I hung up, Harper said, "Remember when you told me that standing up to Grandma and Grandpa wasn't just about one Christmas dinner?" "I do," I said. It was about teaching me to value myself enough to expect proper treatment, she said, like a woman twice her age. Yes, I said, voice thick. That's exactly it. We ended the night wandering our apartment, looking at the photos Harper had hung properly in frames. Real life. Real smiles. A candid Easter picture where everyone's faces were soft, not stiff for the camera. Not perfect, but real. From the worst Christmas of our lives came something healing. By refusing unacceptable treatment and setting firm boundaries, we carved out space for better. Not just with them. Within us. Have you ever had to set hard boundaries with family? Tell me your story in the comments. I'm listening. And if any part of this gave you strength, hit like and subscribe so we can keep having these conversations. Standing up for yourself isn't selfish. It's love in action.